In the current pandemic climate, cash flow is a key for all businesses. And quite often, liquidity or the cash flow available to many companies are not tracked properly. The cash itself can be stuck in various places. It can be unlocked from various assets at a very first level. People do track that, but this is a quick overview of where your cash can come from. So if you look at some of the key things, some of them you would recognize immediately, while others might have escaped your attention. But you have to put all these into a single platform, such as we have in clextra as an ERP, so that you can track your cash flow at any time. In fact, we have one of the modules in clextra where you can have divisional, not just an enterprise cash flow, but a divisional cash flow and even an individual cash flow. Uh, Key managers can manage their own cash flows. So this can be consolidated up to the top over a specific period, so like every month over the next 3 months. So we'll come to the implementation of that, but first is to get a quick overview. So if you look at the purple at the bottom, the most obvious ones are the receivables and inventory. So the moment you talk cash flow, you think I have to collect money. So I have my customers and I have to collect money uh, on all existing bills, overdue bills, the receivables part. That in turn can lead to bad debt. So if you have bad debt, it's better and quicker to write that off in your books, or at least have a rating system so that you're clear which are the receivables which will actually materialize and the receivables which is unlikely to materialize over given periods of time. So the other side of the receivables is your inventory. What's the real value of inventory, and what's the value you can unlock from that? If you're a manufacturer, ideally you should be having a very minimal inventory. You procure against orders, so make to stock, make to order implications come up. If you have other kinds of inventory, obsolescence, out of fashion if you're in retail, so non-moving items, so the entire gamut of factors that happen on the inventory side. So this is at the bottom, as we can see, the inventory and receivable side. But as you go further, you can see where the other kinds of unlocking happens. Government taxes, we are all very familiar with the GST situation in India, where you're paid up or TDS has been deducted and paid. How do you manage those? Even with customers, you could have EMDs, for example, public sector earnest money deposits or deposits against tenders. Unlocking that and tracking that and making sure that you get it back on time, or if there are interest collections, that the interest collection materializes. So government and customers, unlocking that, taxes, getting those back, refunds, tracking those are important. Cash could also be stuck with employees if you're giving out home loans or car loans. So employees could be holding some of your cash, and maybe minimal, but the more obvious ones is salaries and paying out salaries and benefits in a timely fashion and having that built into your cash flow at all given times. These There could be provisions for work at home, work from home. There could be provisions because of the pandemic, extra healthcare benefits. So these should also be accounted for in the cash, because your lenders, they've given money, so debt, the debt side of it, and capturing all the debt that you have, interest payments. This is of course more regularly tracked because the debt, the they are following up with you. The lenders are following up with you and making sure that they get their money. But again, by paying out higher interest or deferring it, there are various ways to do debt management, and that could be entire module in itself. However, having the data in front of you is extremely important. Owners' equity capital and the dividends paid out to them, ensuring that stakeholder interests are maintained, bonuses, incentives are paid out. So at the owner's level, that's important. Suppliers, also there is cash there. This is the first group that gets penalized. You defer payment and you don't pay them. So that's not a great idea, because if they don't stop supplies to you, your whole entire organization is placed at risk. So supporting your suppliers is as important. Uh, and here, of course, the demand and supply, market situations, other factors do kick in. But balancing all this is the key to managing your cash effectively. You would have assets, fixed assets, land, buildings, machinery That could also be unlocked in various ways. You could also, if the unit is physically managed and controlled, you could also lower the costs of the fixed assets by giving it out maybe for night shifts, weekend usage, Saturday, Sunday usage. There are other ways you can generate cash from existing fixed assets. And so, if you're working only a single shift and 25 days a month, it's pretty obvious that there are other ways you can unlock the fixed assets in various ways. You could look at innovative ideas. The last thing is, of course, in your inventory and all this obsolescence of plant and machinery, of inventory, like I said, bad debt. So there's a whole set of things which might not be in the current cash flow, but which may be reflected in your books. And that's a dangerous thing because you assume you have that as liquid cash, but it is not available to you as liquid cash. All this can be put in within the clextra platform across very large corporations, even if there are hundreds of divisions and tens of thousands of employees. But the concepts will work even for a small SME with 50, 100 employees. How do you manage your cash flow? And using formal mechanisms is available through our clextra platform.